You bet. It had to happen sooner or later. Wizards of the Coast has announced Monty Python and the Holy Grail as a two-part secret lair. Can a good idea actually add value at the same time? Let's talk about this. A good idea on paper still needs to be executed properly to have that good idea become a great revenue source for Wizards of the Coast. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. A reminder, if you enjoyed today's content, that you should like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notification bell because I put out new content every single day, guys. So today we're talking about Monty Python and the Holy Grail and the fact this is becoming a secret lair. Kind of a big thing for a lot of people who've been around the movie world long enough to remember this movie and watch it. I grew up in the 80s watching this several times as a young teen, so I'm sure a lot of you guys out there of the same vintage as me remember this as well. Now I have a single image here to pull up for you just to remind you of the greatness of the movie. There's King Arthur, King of the Britons, right? And he's got this whole troop of all the guys they've collected together to solve it and find the Holy Grail. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should. But here's the thing, a good idea, a great idea, still needs to be executed correctly. Stuffing this into a secret lair, getting hold of this IP, which probably didn't cost them a lot because the age of the actors and the memory of a product like this, okay? And the product being the movie itself and all the movies that these actors put together and did. Everything from Fawlty Towers all the way through. A lot of these actors had long storied careers, but they're all in their 80s, and I'm sure licensing for these types of products on a limited basis like this probably didn't cost Wizards of the Coast a lot of money, which means they have a lot of room to make revenue from a product like this. But that doesn't mean it's going to be successful, because it all comes down to which cards Wizards of the Coast pairs with the artwork they create. And this has been a real hit and miss for Wizards of the Coast when it comes to certain secret layers. A lot of players don't find the value has been attached properly, and really, this is no different, and I'll show you as we go through. Now, as to the best of my knowledge right now, we haven't seen the price points for any of these products. I know they've broken into two parts. And of course, here's an image showing, part one and part two, foil, non-foil versions, of course. This is interesting in the fact that they broke it into two parts when really this probably just could have been a slightly larger secret layer. But Wizards of the Coast has got their marketing down. They know if they can sell one piece of it to one person, they're going to sell the second piece of it to the exact same person. But let's take a closer look at the cards inside, okay? Let's take a moment to see what they are talking about when we show us the cards, okay? Here's Tim the Enchanter. Remember, like the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch and all that great stuff? Well, it's just a prodigal sorcerer. The artwork is amazing, and this brings you back to the idea that is the artwork going to be enough to drive the value of the product, even though the card itself is next to worthless. Okay, it's just a common card, nothing big nowadays like the 90s. When you see the next card, Bring Out Your Dead, that's just buried alive, okay? Again, I love the feel of the artwork they're sharing with us. I can appreciate that. I'm just not sure how much the audience base is going to go for it. The next one is an African Swallow, which is the Birds of Paradise, a decent $5 card, of course with unique artwork added to it to make it a little more exciting, and that is followed up, of course, with looking at the European Swallow. Remember with the coconut? Could he carry that coconut all the way and stuff like that? Such a great movie, man. I'm going to have to rewatch this thing. I think it's on Netflix, too. Now, our next one. This one I kind of love the artwork for. We want a shrubbery. All right, guys, when I look at this artwork, and the fact it's still reminiscent of the original actors in the original scenes, I do like that, okay? It's gonna hit the certain nostalgic appeal for a lot of players. Here's Sir Belvedere's Scales, which is Ashnod's Altar, another, $5, $6 card. But when we look at these secret layers, we know, and here's the Castle of Arg, which is Dark Depths, right? You're onto the second secret layer. When you see these things, you start to recognize that the cards they've chosen, along with the token here, is not going to be a be-all, end-all for players. There is going to be a lot of Magic players who are going to take time to critique this product. And what I mean by that is Wizards of the Coast's missed opportunities when they have chosen to create a product like Monty Python the Holy Grail. The cards that are selected and the value of those cards are going to be combed over by a lot of players who will come up with better ideas and better envisioning of what cards could have been. When you look at the choice of cards they have given us, you notice they didn't give us any creatures in there. They didn't give us King of the Britons. They didn't give us King Arthur as something like Kenrith, the Returned King, which is the first thing that came to my mind. They didn't give us some of these more legendary characters an actual place. Like, sure, you gave us Tim the Sorcerer as the Prodigal Sorcerer, which is kind of cute, and that is a funny card, but it has no value. So when players are looking at the value of what you are asking them to pay for a secret layer like this, with only a few cards in each one, broken into two parts, players are going to take that moment, they're going to critique the product. They're going to say they're getting ripped off, and they're going to look at it and say, this is what you should have done, and this is what could have been done better. Where's the rabbit, by the way? Where's the holy hand grenade of Antioch as some kind of explosive artifact or something? I don't know. I'm just, even myself, I look at it and I think they could have done a better job either expanding by adding another secret layer on top of this and maybe making each secret layer 9 cards or something, or maybe 8 cards to kind of broaden out some of the cards they could have added to this set and added some of the characters inside, like the Black Knight and stuff like that. I think they really could have done a little bit more. I'm sure you guys will drop some comments today to let me know what you thought would be done better and what they should have done in the longer term of an IP like this, because there was a lot of room, a lot of ability to say we can do this, X, Y, Z, we can have this all out inside these 2-parter or even a 3-parter and still make a lot of money, because for Wizards of the Coast, they're going to look at the cash flow and what they're going to build into it, and they're picking cards that they feel will be played but maybe not be high value. And that's interesting as well. The cards they've chosen, I can see a lot of these things will be cards that may find their way into a deck, but may not have the highest value point. And they also understand they don't have to have as high of a value point when there'll be fans of Monty Python who will just buy this and store it on a shelf. They're not going to open it. And with recent developments of what's happened around some of the rising values of secret layers, including things like the Princess Bride, there have been a few secret layers in the last little while that have really started being marked up in value on the secondary market, because a lot of players combed over secret layers for quite a while. People totally ignored it and have moved on to other products, and with the changing economic climate we are in, a lot of players don't have the funds to kind of buy every product. And that's left a lot of loopholes, a lot of little gaps for speculators to dive in and pick up these products only to sell them later on at a much higher price to the players in the secondary market who finally get around to wanting to buy it or having the funds to buy it, to see that they have to pay 3 times or 4 times the money of the original secret layer, because that's the going rate for it right now. It's interesting to see how the speculators will take advantage of this one, because the cards won't be as highly sought after, but there will be a fan base for this product nonetheless. It's the Dismember one, it's only a flesh wound. Cards like that, iconic moments like that are awesome, but I still think they missed a lot of those iconic moments inside of the film that should have been represented into a secret layer as a whole. But either way, this product for me would be a pass. It's not something I would buy based on the cards I see. To me, it looks like they're just trying to get the audience and fans to buy some mediocre cards into some cool artwork and just make a few bucks. I think we as players deserve better than that, and I would be curious to see what you guys put in the comment sections about whether you would buy this or not buy this and your reasoning behind it. So drop some comments, let me know what you're thinking, because this is one of those products that it has a good idea. It just should have been executed better in my mind, because as a nostalgic guy who dives into these, like the Transformer one, there's certain secret layers we all know that even I had to somehow find a way to get my hands on, but this isn't one of them. The idea was good, it was executed poorly, and I'll be passing. And I wonder if I'll regret that 2-3 years from now, saying I should have bought it when I had the chance. Either way, thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Drop those comments in the comment section about whether you would buy this or not buy it and the reasoning behind it, and we'll see what everyone else thinks too. Have a great day in the world of Magic the Gathering, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. Now, I gotta admit, we're here at the end. This is that moment where I get to thank all the patrons of the channel, all my YouTube membership members, and I'm looking and I just say to myself, how amazing is it that they chose to do a Monty Python, the Holy Grail secret layer. It is amazing, it is awesome, and I'm still not buying it. But a big shout out and thank you to all these patrons. Because of them, I got to make that comment today. Thanks again. See you tomorrow. I really think they should have done that hand grenade. The Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. And the rabbit, some rabbit stew coming right up, and then the rabbit goes and takes everyone out. Come on, there was an option there, man. It should have been the rabbit. I'm just saying. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. We're here at the end. It's an amazing idea, okay? It's amazing. This is an amazing secret layer choice that they've done, and they messed it all up. They should have chosen probably I'd almost say groups of like 6 to 9 cards and done 3 secret layers, 3 parts, right? And they should have chosen some creatures, some spell. They just should have done a little bit more. Me critiquing it, I'm like, I'm all about making, they gotta make their money, but they could have chosen better cards, a better way of putting it together, and we would have had a good time with it. The White Knight, the Black Knight, the Knights who no longer say knee, stuff like that. Oh, they could have chosen as like a giant. They could have had a good time with this, man. And I think they just missed some of the opportunities that are obvious, like right in your face. But either way, it's a good idea, and it's still gonna sell. Let's be honest, it's still gonna sell. I just wonder how that one will come onto the secondary market about 2 years from now, and we'll see how much the interest still is at. Because a lot of secret layers kind of die out, and other ones seem to do fairly well. Depends on the fans of that product and when they learn that that product exists. Sometimes it's years later where somebody finds out they did this, they did what? I don't own this yet. It's some like diehard fan and they go and they buy it. So either way, I can't wait to see what people think because it's interesting to think that they will do more of these. Are we going to see a Rambo secret layer? Commando? Terminator? Predator? Aliens? We got options, guys. We got options. Let me know what you think.